Welcome everyone, this is Gwydion with RPG Frequencies, and today I'm going to be walking you through a setup I've created to play Dragonbane, the adventure or mini, I guess I'd call it a mini campaign that comes with a core rule set, and I'm trying to set it up to play solo. And as some of you know that have been following me for some time, I've been doing more solo adventures, but honestly, I've still not actually done a solo adventure when I've done something that's more of a TTRPG. I've bought a lot of traditional solo games like Caernarfon, 2D6 Dungeon, The Wanderer, a bunch of games that are truly intended for solo. But Dragonbane is a system that I kickstarted and I was interested in. Actually, I don't know if I did the Kickstarter, but I got it shortly after the Kickstarter, I think. But it's a system that looks pretty cool, and the way the monsters are set up, the creatures having tables which you roll on to determine their actions. There's just a lot of things that seemed like it would fit well for solo. They do have some solo rules in, I think it's a supplement that's called Alone in Deepfall Breach. I believe it comes with a core set, but I'm not 100% sure. That might have come with what I did back on the Kickstarter. So I'm going to use a little bit of that as well, but I think on today I'm going to show mainly what I've done and just what I'm going to use to play. So the things that I'm going to use, the tools I'm going to use are the Plot Unfolding Machine, or PUM Companion, by Jensen. I apologize. I don't think I'll say his last name correctly. Well, I will. Sorry, Jensen Vars. And he's been super responsive as I've reached out to him with questions. His Discord is very active. I would encourage you all to join his Discord. I'll try to remember to drop a link in the description to this video. But the tool sets are underlying the PUM Companion, which I'm using because it's a digital tool. But what this is based on is something called the Plot Unfolding Machine. And I've looked at GM Mythic Emulator 2nd edition. I've got that. That looks really interesting. But this is a storytelling game system that helps you develop your stories. It has oracles. It has prompts and questions. I'm not going to go through all of that on this because Jensen has some great videos explaining what this is. But for €6, you can buy the Plot Unfolding Machine. And I've got this in PDF form. And in addition, there is the Scene Unfolding Machine and the Game Unfolding Machine. The real simple, I guess, TLDR about each of these, because they're each $6, is the Plot Unfolding Scene is the main system. The Scene Unfolding Machine is more about handling scene beginning and ending, NPC interaction. And then the Game Unfolding Machine is more about abstract game creation, plot seeds, and world building. So I would encourage you to get all three of them. And in addition, PUM Companion is an app that is also something that you would buy for €14.99. So I think, I don't know if I have this in here. These are extras that you can buy with it, which I have all of them. There we go. So this is the app that I'll be walking through and showing you how I've set it up. But it's really, really slick. So, all right, enough of that. Let's get into PUM. So I've already started I've set up most of the system. It's called the mini campaign in the core rule set of Dragonbane. It's called The Secret of the Dragon Emperor. And you'll notice before I go much further, there are a number of extras to this, to the PUM Companion. You can buy decks and cards, the crystal theme, which allows you to customize your own theme. I'm using that in the video I'm showing you today, and I've customized it a bit to look more like Dragonbane in colors and background images. And then also there's widgets that you can use as part of like your character sheet, and I'll try to remember to show that. Each of these, I think, is around, again, $6 add-on. Don't know if it says that here, but if you look at itch.io, yeah, the main system is $14.99, but let's just look at the builder widgets. Yeah, I think they're all $6 here, €6, excuse me. All right, enough of that. Let's jump right in. So we're going to close that. We're going to get into the system I've set up. And I set up at the very top, these are going to be your plot. Sorry if I say this wrong. Plot threads, plot feeds. I don't recall exactly what these are called, or nodes maybe, but you can check these off as you finish them. You can set these up however you want. There's all kinds of customization, but given in the mini campaign, you're trying to find and put together these 4 statuettes, and then you kind of have a finale. That's how I set this up. I set it up really simple. Your oracle is on the left. I might go through this, but probably not a lot. To get all of the details behind what these are, you'd want to have the PDFs, but obviously you can use this right out of the box. But there's the plot oracles, the scene oracles, and the game oracles. So again, I won't go into that a lot. Plenty of videos on that. But there are tables and cards. So I've set up location tables for all of things like random events. So if you look, I'm going to open the PDF now to Dragonbane Adventures. So if you open this and go to one of the locations, Ritter Mound, you can see there's always these tables for random events. So I have put these into PUM Companion, and now I can just roll on these whenever I want. So anytime I want to, I can roll on any of these. So let's just roll on this. And then I love how it displays. It kind of makes you feel like you're learning this as you go. It's not just a mini table. So it'll type out the entirety of what I put into the table. And once that's done, I can just left click. And now it's in this section of PUM Companion. So I can always go back and look at it. So I have all of the random event tables there. I'm just going to delete that for now because this is going to be my basic table for the game. You can see the background image because I have the crystal theme, and there's other themes, but this is the theme that I was able to customize because I bought that $6 extension, if you will, and then I changed all the colors so that I have like red as my primary, and I tried to make it close to the Dragonbane rulebook. So, okay, what else do I have in here? Useful findings. Those are, I added things like rumors in there, rumor tables out of the PDF. And then for cards, I don't know. Let's see, I should have them in here. Let's look at configure tables for a second. Well, wait. Oh, here we go. Cards. Yes. So I have input because I own all the PDFs of the cards. I included like a Halloween deck if I ever needed cards. This is mine. I've imported, and then this is the initiative system from Dragonbane. So if I click on this, I think I can configure the decks here. You can see I have other decks, but like the DB initiative deck, I accidentally just duplicated it. But you could, should be able to edit this if you want. I was hoping to just go menu, edit. So yeah, you can see I have all the images of the different initiative cards. I thought there were 10. Yeah, there's 10. So I have all 10 initiative cards, and I'll show you how I'm going to use that. Again, this isn't all necessary. This is just how I have my table set up. Got random encounters, potential obstacles. I included like the demonic omens and some random events out of the PDF. And yeah, I think that's it for that. You have your notes down here, which you can, type. You can also include a voice note. So if I wanted to do that, I could click on this and create a voice note or set an image. There's also a rollable dice roller. I don't use that because I'm going to use, most likely, I'll be using Alchemy, and I'll show you that for my like attacks and such. All right, let's go to the middle section here. Now I'm going to kind of make this a little bit bigger. So this middle section, I've uploaded all of this. You don't have to do nearly as much as I've done. I just go a little crazy, and I wanted the whole adventure in here. So you have characters, locations, and compendiums. So let's look at characters. So I can filter over here if you set up if you set each of these characters up as having a specific name, like this one is the lady, and I've called this Rittermon character. So whatever you put underneath here is going to let you filter by that description. So again, if I say over here, filter, and I want to filter by Rittermon character, I click there, and now it's just going to show me those characters that are included in that location. So if I want to click on any of these, I can click on her. And I shouldn't have done this. I want to show off the character, but I shouldn't have included a character sheet. So I'm going to delete that for now. Go back. Don't really need that. Okay. But what I did want to have in here is a section for the journal. Like once I start playing, if I want to record my interactions with her, I think I'll record it here so I can remember what do I know about her, what have I discovered. And then I have her overview. That's kind of just the basics of who she is. So translucent, faintly blue, shimmering. So there's a basic description. And where I got that, if you go back to Rittermound and I can find her, just flip. There we go, the lady here. So I took that out of this section here. There's obviously more information. I'm not loading all of the rooms in Rittermound and all the information. I just basically clicked and copied this image into a PNG and then deleted the background when I copied it and then put it into PUM Companion. So there's other things you can do. I can add a PDF here. I can do all sorts of things, but I kept this pretty simple and I've just got the information on each of these characters. So, all right, so that's pretty much how that works. I won't go through all of the other, just know I've got, again, all of the characters that I found in the module. So let's go to character. So I created my own Dragonbane character and I'm calling it Rindel. I'm using I think it's Orla Moonsilver image for now. I might change that, but I just copied that out of the core rulebook and I'm using that as my image. So what I did is I copied in, I think, the PDF image here. So it's really cool. Some of this you can do without any add-ons in PUM Companion. Like you can right click anywhere and it'll pull up text. And I can just say, let's see, sample text. And now that's there. If I click out of it, now I can drag that anywhere. I can resize it. I think I can even change the color of the text over here. So if I wanted to make that say like teal, which is kind of my Gwydion colors, I can do that. But I'm going to delete that right now because I don't need it. But I'm going to zoom into this a little bit more. And you can see this is part of a widget that is included if you buy the, I think it's called the Widgets module, which is, again, €6. And these are all the things that you can include. Jensen has a great video. I won't go into these. Something that's really powerful there is log actions, though. So on this, and I'm not using this too much yet, but you can create all kinds of roles. You can roll on tables. You could create, if you wanted to, some Dragonbane like macros to roll your skills and what have you. I'm not doing that, but just know this is really powerful. But let me get back to what I've used for now. So, okay. So obviously I put in things like, name, professions. These are all applicable. So these are widgets that are part of that add-on, but my con is 15. If for some reason it had to be 12, I can just make that up or down. If I do take a condition, I can mark it here. I like that I changed this to red because the other default is a little bit more gray and it's hard to read. So I like this. So I've done that. I've got my damage bonus in here, plus D6 for agility. I've got my abilities, and these are just notes. I can't click on these. I should lock them probably, so I can't move them around, and now they won't move. You've got your inventory, encumbrance limit, movement. Again, all of my skills are in here, and I can tick these off if I roll a dragon or a demon, and I can know that I can roll for those at the end of the session. And that's, yeah, there's gold, silver. I've got all my weapons down here, armor rating, what have you. It's pretty intuitive. Willpower and hit points. Okay, so it's all there. So that's that. Now let's click on locations. So again, same general idea. You'll see I have a lot of numbers here. And again, I set up some various filters here, but I'm filtering by, right now I'm not filtering by anything. The map note, I wanted to have these as just generic kind of tokens so that if I wanted to make a note on a map, I could. I have all these numbers, but let's just go to location. So we're going to start out at the overall Misty Vale. So the Misty Vale is the overarching area, and I do have to clean some of this up. Sometimes there's some little text that needs to be cleaned up that has like a hyphen in it. So, but you can see here again, I've got like a description. So if I just want to read that and not spoil anything, depending on how I want to play this, if I want to get into a little bit of the history and let myself know a little bit, maybe after encountering some of the NPCs, I could unlock some of that. So I just have it in there in case I need it. And then I have the entire map. Now I've went ahead and included the tokens on the map, but I made it so these aren't clickable. I'd have to unlock them. So for now, all I can access is the what's called I think the opening scene. So if I click on this, I can expand this out and go right into the opening scene. So then I can go into the Drakmar Pass, what's happening, the situation, again, right out of the rule book, and then onto the Misty Vale. I think when you start, literally when you're starting, I think, I don't know, I'll have to read that. And then I've got the map here. I probably will not use this, but I wanted it in here. I'm going to use Alchemy RPG to run my combat, so I'll explain that in a minute. So that's that. So I think that's pretty cool. So I can unlock these all as I go through the game. If you go into any of these locations, let's go to like Temple of the Purple Flame. You can again see I have a couple tabs with different information. I do have the maps if needed. And these tokens are called, I think, heroic icons. I got that set off a Roll20 for like, I don't know, I think it was less than $10. I use them all the time. And you can even release them under a Creative Commons license. All right, so that's location. Compendium, you can bring in the entire adventure. I'll probably use the PDF already that I have, but if you want it in here, you can see now the entire adventure is in here. I don't think these are hyperlinked, but you can flip through this and you can read the entire adventure if you want in here, and the core rules. I also included like just the text of the legend, like what I know, and then I said GM truth, something that maybe I can unlock as I learn more. All right, that's that. Let's go into, I think it is in locations, I believe. Yeah, I'm gonna go into the initiative tracker. So I saw people on the forum doing some things around initiative, but the way I think I'm gonna run this is I'm gonna play this to where I have the heroic ability called Army of One, and that means I get 2 initiative spots. So I think I'm gonna play this. Let me shuffle this. But I've got I've included this widget, again, that's part of the add-on of PUM. But if I wanted to roll, say, 2 initiatives for my character, then I could draw. So I got a 5 and a 7. And again, you can do this so many different ways. This was just fun for me. So 2, so I would put that here, and then I would put that under 7. Sorry, 5 and 7, if I can only read. So I'm just gonna put my tokens there. And then let's say if I knew what enemy I was facing, I would go down here under tokens. And this is where I asked Jensen, maybe you can have a hover over at some point. Let's just say I know I'm facing a toad and I'm facing, I don't know, maybe a goblin or something that I saw in here. Let's take Quasimond. I think that's what is Quasimond Scum, I think is what this is. So then you could lock them so you don't like do anything with them. Oh, I guess if you lock them, it doesn't allow you to move them. But then we could say, like, I could draw initiative cards for them. Actually, I shouldn't have done that. Let's go back to 1 card and we'll draw. So like he gets a 9, and then we'll say the other one, God, I clicked too quick. That's fine. The other one gets an 8. So then I could just reset this, leave this alone, and then I can do this at the top of each round, right? I guess I could, yeah, I'll just probably roll them for each. But then I figured I'd track hit points here. So I could just, I wonder if I need to. Why is it not? Why it's not letting me? I think I might have done something to where, let's see, is this working? I think it might have, I might have froze it. Maybe too many resources. Let me shut down the PDF for a second. I'm going to, just for a second, I'm going to exit to the main menu. Go to main menu, and let's try to just go back in. Maybe it's something I did that, and let's go back into the tracker. Yeah, so now it's working. It's probably something, oh, that's interesting. DB initiative, it's got a question mark. So I can go here, I can, input all the hit points, and then at least I have these to track. And let's see, shuffle and draw. There we go. This is all working. So, then I thought I could start with initiative 1, then I could say, okay, we're on initiative 5, so I could just use this to track whose current turn it was. I don't know, it's going to work for me. And then you also have your plot information or nodes. The way I'm going to use this is I am going to use this to roll. I didn't include the final location because I think you're supposed to complete all the others first. So I'm going to use this to determine where do I start. So I'll show you how that looks. So if I click the roll button here, so I'm going to start at the village of the day before. And there's a little snippet right out of the book. And you can see now that's over here. And then maybe I think I can disable this to know that, hey, I've already seen that. I don't want to select it again. So I think that's going to be a really cool way for me to figure out where do I start my event. And then I've got like obstacles if I need to. This just says, this won't roll on the table. It'll basically tell me, if I wanted to. It's just a good reminder, like, oh yeah, roll on the demonic table, go over here, find the table, and here's my demonic omens. I roll on it, and it pops up into the chat. So that's mainly it here. And then, so I think this is going to be great. I can use the journal. I can talk as any character, and I can record, major information from each of the sessions. And I think you can even like add different logs so that like I could have session 1, session 2, however I want to do it. So that's mainly how I've set up PUM Companion. I'm sure there's so many different ways to do it. So I'm going to X out of this to be, because I'm pretty much finished with that for now. But now let me go into Dragonbane. So I've been a founder of Alchemy RPG from the beginning. Haven't used it a ton. I love what they're doing, but it just hasn't been exactly right for me. But I think now this will work, because the way I'm going to do it is I've got my character Cherindel in here, and I might show this on another video, but I'm gonna create some companions, and I have a thought of how I want to do this, and this is not in the solo rules of Dragonbane, but I think I'm gonna have a couple companions and figure out a way that I can use a couple of their heroic abilities on occasion. So if I need something that's more magic based, or maybe something that a thief would have, I want to have some companions, but I don't want to track them, and I don't want to track rolling combat and initiative. So I think that's how I'm going to handle that. But if I click on Cherindel, I can play Cherindel, and then all of his skills, actions, equipment, and trackers are over here. So if I want to roll, say for my acrobatics, I can either left click and roll, and then it's going to show me here, I got an 18, which is a fail. The target is a 14, and I've input all these. But I could also, like if I wanted to roll for, say, evade, I can right click and roll with a boon or a bane. So if I roll with a boon, then it's going to roll 2 and take the highest. So it took my dragon. So that's awesome. So that's how that works. And you can do that for all of your weapon skills are down here as well, right? So you can do that easy enough. You've got actions. So if I do hit, I can click on short bow, roll for damage, and it's going to give me that damage and the dice roll right there. I think I already modified the short bow damage. So if I click on this, I think, maybe I don't. Let me exit out of that. If I right click and say edit, I added my additional die, my D6, because it's an agile. I'm using my agile skill, my agility skill. So I can get the weapon damage, plus I can get the D6. I might add little icons in here later. That's pretty easy. My trackers. So if I have death rolls, I can toggle these. Conditions, I think I already toggled that, but you can toggle your conditions. This is just going to be a reminder, but it's cool. And then over here, I thought I added some trackers. Let's go into story, tools. Yeah, under tools, I added, I wanted to be able to remember if I took a round rest or a stretch rest. So I just added these trackers. But if you go into the scenes, this is where Dragonbane shines. You're probably hearing a little bit of background music, and that is from this enhanced edition with all this movement, which I love. But let's just say I start at, I think we said it was the village of the day before. So I can left click on this, click play, And I haven't really looked at this at all. So I don't really know. Well, maybe this doesn't have a, oh yeah, it does have an image. So this will help me with my background. I can flip back and forth between PUM Companion and this, but this gives me an image and it's kind of evocative. And then if and when I get into combat, I can click on the story mode, and then I don't know where, again, I haven't read this yet, but then I can go into Rindel, click on token, place maybe their token there. And let's see if I get out of this. Okay, good. It still keeps Rindel. And then if I go over to NPCs, it shows me the NPCs that are in here. So I don't think I'm going to use initiative here. I like the way I tracked it in PUM Companion, but let's just move these up here maybe, and then I can drag them, or I can at least move them onto the token, and maybe, I don't know where they are supposed to be, but again, you can put them on token, and then I have a great visual aid for my combat. And so I can move all these, I can move these, do anything I want, and then if I need to play anyone like Thorndale, I can click on Thorndale and play, and then I've got that character up. I've got his skills, actions, equipment, everything I can roll straight out of here. And then when I'm done, I would get out of story mode. Let me kind of clean this up because this is how I'm going to play it later. And again, I'm not saying this is the optimal setup. A lot of you may say this is overkill. It's way too much. I get it. I just enjoy it. And it's really exciting to me. I love the detail I put into PUM Companion. I love the imagery here, and I can follow. Like here is probably where I will look at the story. So now I'm in the village of the day before. I don't know if I'll have a PDF in front of me, or since I'll be on screen, I might just go ahead and use this to read and give myself the information on, what do I need to do next, what's happening kind of thing. And one thing I didn't show you is here's a monster. Let's put the monster up here and let me play the monster. The monsters have all their actions and it's really slick. Like if you have a monster attack, I can literally just click on attack and it's going to roll and tell me it's rolling behind the scenes on the table that this specific monster has. So if I click on it, and if I showed you, here are the monster attacks. So there's a demonic dread, flaming grip, curse. So that's what I drew as curse. But you can do it right here. And then there's a little button here for curse that I can click on and play. And it's going to tell me what happens. So it's really like for playing solo, I just think this is going to be awesome, the two of these together. So I think I've already gone almost a half an hour, probably longer than I should have. But I'd really encourage you to check out, Alchemy in general, to take a look at it if you like the way this seems to play and the roles and such. And they do have Dragonbane built out pretty well. And for PUM Companion, I mean, there's a lot of oracles out there, a lot of tools, but I would say Jensen Bars, he does a ton of updating to the PUM Companion app, and he is super active. I would join his Discord, just a super nice guy, really smart. There's a lot of people on that Discord that have done so much more than with PUM Companion than I have. I'm still new to it, but check it out. And I will do another session. I'll do kind of a session 0, introduce my character, and maybe start out an adventure, hopefully in another couple weeks. So stay tuned. If you like this, give me a thumbs up, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And until next time, happy gaming.